All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I welcome you to another episode of your number one informative, educating, enlightening socio-political program on TV, Crown Fit TV. Hot Matters, that is the name of the program. It's all about talking about trending issues that are in the public domain, hot and trending matters. It is on this note that I welcome you. My name is Adeyemi Adeoye. I'll go on this quick commercial break and I'll be back.
Are you a working class woman or man that your working schedule will not avail you time? At Petri Global Resources Limited, we make different types of spices for your food. Spices that will make your food taste so yummy to the point that you almost want to bite your tongue.
Hello everyone, welcome to Petri Global Resources. Petri Global Resources is a company that specializes in healthy eating and healthy living. Petri Global Resources is here. My own products. We are real. Now let me show you. For those that are lactose intolerant, look at this plant-based milk made from tiger nuts that you popularly know that we normally do the juice from. This is the powdered type of it. Okay. Now look at our further rice. Our further rice is sand-free, clean, neat, doesn't have odor or smell. This is the best rice for those that are looking to live healthy. You have any health challenge, this is the rice you should be eating. A lot of people think that sea salt is just mainly for spiritual purposes. Sea salt is actually the main salt we ought to be taking, direct from sea. Now a lot of people are concerned about their health. They want to stop using monosodium glutamate, seasoning cubes and seasoning powder that are out there that are loaded with things that are not beneficial to our health. And we come up with this wonderful soup spice. People think that there is nothing like soup spice. When you use this soup spice to cook, you will chop off your finger. Look at our pepper soup spice. Make pepper soup without seasoning cubes and you will enjoy your meal. What about our mixed spice? Used for stew, jollof rice, porridge, anything outside soup you want to cook, use this one. And now let's look at our turmeric and black pepper. Do you know without black pepper your body will not be able to absorb the cumin content in turmeric, but with black pepper your body can absorb the cumin up to 200% in your system. Coconut oil is not left out. Those seeking to live healthy, this is the oil for you. Cold press, look at it, as bright as water, it's as clear as water, colorless, odorless. Watch out for our other products. We are coming. Let's go there.
And then you'll come back to thank me later.
Alright guys, you're welcome back from that short commercial break we went to. Like I say, it's still your number one socio-political program on Crown Fit TV, Hot Matters. And my name is Adeyemi Adeoye. Welcome back from that short break. When an agency is saddled with the responsibility of handling sensitive and highly important tasks, especially as it pertains to nations building or national interest, it becomes very germane and very important for such an agency to deliver on the task or the mandate it has at hand. If for any reason such agency failed on the mandate that has been handed over to it, the nation at last suffers for it. So like I said, the presidential election has come and it has gone. It has been a little bit over 4 months since the new president has emerged, talking about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But the dust that we raised as a result of the election is very much yet to settle, as the other parties that came second and third felt aggrieved and proceeded to appeal to the Presidential Election Tribunal. The tribunal sat, listened to the cases that were brought before it, and gave a judgment The judgment came in the favor of the APC and its candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu, thereby retaining President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the duly elected president of Nigeria in the February 29 general election. Now, still not certified by the judgment of the tribunal that sat on the case, on the post-election case, PDP and the Labour Party decided to proceed to appeal the judgment of the presidential tribunal. Now, one would think that the bone of contention, both for the PDP and the Labour Party, would be for them to argue that the APC and its candidates did not secure the maximum total vote as stipulated by the Constitution. We all know what the stipulation in the Constitution is for anyone to emerge as the president of Nigeria. That is, whosoever will emerge as the president of Nigeria has to secure the highest total vote, the highest score, or the highest number of votes spread across the 36 states that constitute the country of Nigeria, including the FCT. If we could remember, the argument of the Labour Party while going before the presidential tribunal was that the APC and its candidate did not secure the total number of votes as stipulated in the Constitution, and that is because the APC could not win the FCT in the presidential election. If you remember, the Labour Party actually won the Federal Capital Territory in the presidential election. So it was on that ground that the Labour Party was trying to base its argument. But unfortunately, the tribunal in its ruling came out to say that the FCT is just like every other state and it cannot be accorded a special status, which simply means that even as the Labour Party did not secure the highest vote in the FCT, so long as it was able to secure the highest vote in other parts of the country and in most parts of the country, it is Labour Party and its candidates automatically are the winner of the presidential election. Now, PDP and its candidate, talking about Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, still were not satisfied with the judgment of the tribunal. Now, not being satisfied with the judgment that the tribunal gave, one would expect that the argument will still be centered around the number of votes that was scored by the APC and its candidates. But in a very swift turn of events, surprisingly, this time around, PDP is not basing its argument or its unsatisfaction concerning the tribunal ruling on the number of votes that was scored by the APC and its candidates, but rather they are questioning the legitimacy or the qualification of the APC candidate in the 2023 general election. What they are simply trying to say is that the APC candidate was not qualified in the first place to have stood for that election, and that is because they are alleging that the certificate that was submitted to INEC in the build-up to the February 29 general election was actually fake and adulterated and forged. And we all know what our law says about anything that has to do with perjury, that is falsification of documents. We all know how the law frowns at it, and it comes with a very huge penalty. Now, APC and its candidates have come out on quite some number of time to debunk that allegation, although the president for quite some time kept mute while the allegation was going on. But in a bid to prove their case further, the PDP's candidate, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, wrote to Chicago State University, that is the university where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was said to have graduated for, with BSc in accounting. He wrote to the Chicago State University on 4 separate occasions, and the reply he got from the university was that the institution does not have the right nor the power to make public the certificate or the result of any of its students that has ever passed through its institution without the consent of the student. Now, not willing to back down, the PDP's candidate, Atiku Abubakar, in a bid to force the Chicago State University to release the certificate or the document that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu claimed to have gotten from the Chicago State University, wrote to a court in the US asking them to compel the Chicago State University to release the results and the school credentials that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu claimed to have gotten from the Chicago State University. The argument went on for some time in the court back there in the US, and after hearing the matter that was brought before it, the US court decided to grant the prayers of the PDP's candidate, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, thereby releasing the educational credentials of the PDP's candidate, of the APC candidate, to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. Now, and they didn't just stop at releasing it to him, the result was also made public. Since this allegation and counter allegation has been going on for some time, and with the online attention the matter has gotten, the Chicago State University was forced to issue out a statement. One of the critical things they said in the statement that they released was that anything that has to do with perjury or falsification of documents is something that is peculiar to Nigeria. That, you may want to say, is like a slap on the face or a big insult to the country, Nigeria, and a kind of a dent to our image. They went further to say that the school has nothing to do with falsification of documents, because after the credential was made public and handed over to the PDP's candidates, one of the accusations was that the name that was written on the certificate is actually the name of a woman. Now, when this accusation came up, the APC and its candidates countered it by saying that it was a typographical error, because in the US, a lot of the institutions do not print certificates by themselves. Rather, they contract it out to a legitimately recognized printing press to print for any student that is willing to have it. And that, of course, will be at the cost of the student. And this is also part of what was said in the statement that was released by the Chicago State University. Now, according to the APC, like I said earlier, the APC and its candidates say that the other name that appears to be the name of a lady on the certificate that was published is just a typographical error. Now, on the other hand, there are also allegations that there's a huge difference between the certificate that was published by the Chicago State University and that of the one that the APC's candidates submitted to INEC in the build-up to the February 29 presidential election, still maintaining the claim that the certificate that the APC and its candidates submitted to INEC in the build-up to the presidential election was actually fake and forged. It's really getting very confusing at this moment, as one would not know who to believe anymore. The Chicago State University actually admitted that in the year 1974, they had a student named Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now, there's some rumor in some quarters that part of the speech said that, but whether or not he graduated from the school, they cannot give account of it. That has made some people to say that he could actually enroll, but he never completed his education in that school. Now, on my own side, what is really confusing to me, what I'm really pondering about is, why has the argument of the PDP and its candidates changed from who scored the highest number of votes in the February 29 general election, from the legitimacy of the APC's candidate? Could this be a tactical way of the PDP and its candidates admitting that yes, the APC could have won the presidential election, but they shouldn't have been allowed to compete or to participate in that election in the first place? Because, for instance, like the Nasarawa State gubernatorial election that took place, the incumbent governor was relieved of his position by the tribunal because the argument of the PDP's candidate talking about Ombugadu was based on the number of votes that was scored in that election. He was arguing that the APC and its candidates in that election did not score the highest number of votes, and he was able to prove his case beyond reasonable doubts before the tribunal. Hence, the tribunal had no option than to declare him the winner of the gubernatorial election in Nasarawa State. This is how everyone expects it to be, usually in any election matter that is before the court. the argument usually should be centered on who scored the highest number of votes. And initially, that was the tone, or that was the song that the PDP and the Labour Party were singing. They were arguing that the APC and its candidate did not secure the total, the highest number of votes in that election. But after the tribunal issued the judgment that they gave, declaring the APC candidate as the winner of the presidential election, the argument of PDP suddenly changed from who scored the highest number of votes to the legitimacy of the participation of the APC's candidate, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Could this be the proverbial way of gaining access to a house through the back door? Perhaps the PDP know that if they come with the argument of who scored the highest number of votes in that election, they may not stand a chance. Hence, the reason they're trying to come up with this argument of the qualification of the APC's candidate to have even participated in that election in the first place. Now, there is another question that is currently generating heat in the court of public opinion, and that is, will the Supreme Court accept new evidence? Because as it is, the evidence of fake certificate or certificate perjury was not among the issues that were raised by PDP and the Labour Party while going before the tribunal. And as it is customary, the Supreme Court or the Court of Appeal is not known to accepting new evidence from a matter that is coming before it. Could it be something that we will see happening for the first time? Is there a solid ground for the Supreme Court or the Court of Appeal to accept new evidences that will be brought before it by the PDP and its candidates? This is an argument that has been in the public domain, especially before legal practitioners, both from the PDP's angle and from the APC's side. Those from the PDP side have been arguing that no, they shouldn't say that it has never been heard of, that the Supreme Court or the Court of Appeal has never accepted new evidence in a matter that has been heard before from the lower court. They were citing example of the gubernatorial election that took place in Imo State, where a fourth runner-up, Hope Uzodinma, was declared winner, whereas the incumbent governor, Ikedi Ohakim, Emeka Ihedioha, was removed from office by the same Supreme Court. They argued that the evidences, the reason why the incumbent governor there, Emeka Ihedioha, was removed from office was because the Supreme Court accepted new evidences that were brought before it by the APC's candidate, the incumbent governor, Hope Uzodinma. So no one should say that it has never been heard of, that the Supreme Court or the High Court has never accepted any evidences from a matter that is coming before it, or from a matter that has been heard before by a lower court. Well, as it is now, the court that will listen to the matter talking about the Supreme Court is getting ready. Very soon, the names of the judges that will be hearing the matter will be made public, and we will see how everything will turn out. Well, I would also like to hear your opinion. Does the PDP stand a chance in this their petition? Are we going to see, do you think there's a solid ground for this new allegation of perjury to be admitted? Is there a solid ground for the new allegation that is being brought forth by the PDP and its candidate to be admitted by the Supreme Court? Please leave your comments. We'd like to hear from you. Alright guys, it is on this note that I call it a day on the program, The Hot Matters on CrownFit TV. Please feel free to leave your opinion, feel free to comment. Thank you so much for watching the program. Until next time when I bring you another episode of the program. My name is Adeyemi Adeoye. Bye.